Today on Logan Lee Adventures, we head down to the south of France to the towns of Sisteron, the perfume capital of the world in Grasse, and the city of Nice, where my husband Jeroen and I begin our road trip all around the French Riviera. This southern stretch of the French coast shimmers in luxury, yet still remains alluringly accessible for the quintessential European summer. There's a reason why this particular coastline of France has dazzled the likes of Grace Kelly, Picasso, Brigitte Bardot, Coco Chanel, Nietzsche, and F. Scott Fitzgerald, just to name an eclectic few. There's gracious hilltop towns that brims with charm and romance, as well as little coves all up and down the French Riviera. It's not all just a playground for the wealthy on the Côte d'Azur. Backpackers, families, and the locals are easily mingling with jet setters and influencers alike. After all, the pristine beaches here are for everyone. This town is absolutely adorable. So this is called Sisteron, and we're heading down from the Netherlands on a little road trip all the way to the south of France, and we decided to stop here, and oh my gosh, I am in love with this town already. Growing up, I've always heard of the south of France, and alleys like this, like stone alleys, and looking up, this is what I picture the south of France to be. So gorgeous, such a random, beautiful town that was like, we have to stop and get out of the car here on our way down, because there's so many things to see. Yes, you can travel the south of France by public transit or by the train railway system in France. But if you have your own car or a rental car, that's the best way to get around, because how can you miss out on these cute little towns like Sisteron? That's the citadel of Sisteron up there. There's plenty of little villages and towns dotted all over France, and especially in the south of France. So it's great to just be able to have the freedom to drive around, hop on out whenever you want, and check out these little beautiful gems rather than just sticking to what timetable or schedule that only allows by public transit. Gotta get out of these stops. So down there is the Gorge du Verdon, which is a river canyon here in the southeastern part of France. We're not like in the south yet, but the southeastern, and it's carved by the Verdon River. And it has these whitewater rapids along with cliffs and paths that include the Blanc Martel Trail ending at the Point Sublime Lookout. And down there is the Verdon National Regional Park, along with different villages, and it also has a 12th century Notre Dame. So there's a lot going down there, but we're all the way up here in the Provence-Alpes-Côte d'Azur region. So we're still gonna make our way. Eventually, I would love to be exploring down there, but for now, we'll just look up above and see all the little people renting the boats and kayaking in the gorge. That down there is Gorge du Verdon. So we're driving this epic drive that goes all the way right above the gorge, like through it. And there's lots of pit stops along the way to get out, just like here. So we can take a peek at the gorge from above. Oh my gosh. I don't think I've ever seen a fox in your life before. Not in your life. But it doesn't bite. It doesn't bite. It looks so cute. Yeah. A red fox. Yeah. For the night, made a little pit stop at a outdoor restaurant and just ordered a few dishes, this truffle pasta, this steak tartare with frites. It was delicious. And we just sat under this huge tree outside just eating. And then we also had desserts. The dessert came, you can see the dessert came when it was quite dark outside. So the sun had fully set. But this is so lovely, and just enjoying our little romantic getaway in the Côte d'Azur. But now, the next day, we drove to Grasse. So Grasse is this colorful town or city, but I'll call it a town because it's small enough in the south of France. And as you can see, we're just pulling up into this hilltop town, and I can't wait to go exploring it with you, because from what I'm looking around already, it's so beautiful with the pastel colors. These are the colors that make the south of France what it is known for. We made it to the town of Grasse in the south of France. I've always wanted to check this place out because it is the perfume capital of the world. So the perfume capital of the world is in France, and this is the perfume capital. And then this town, Grasse, is the perfume capital. That's pretty spectacular to be here. And you can see pastel walls, pink umbrellas, so adorable. We're just wandering around through Grasse, and it is stunning here. Like I said, pink umbrellas all over town. It's just so magical here. The streets of Grasse just makes my heart flutter with these pastel colored buildings and all the umbrellas, and just being able to peek at the perfumeries and all these little perfume bottles. They're so beautiful. There's so many perfumeries all over Grasse, since it is the capital of the perfume world here. There's a little market in the center of town selling different artisanal clothing and also little knickknacks as well. Here. These mazes of narrow and shaded streets that make up the historic quarter of Grasse could serve as a setting for a cloak and dagger film. And while the town is sitting at around 300 to 400 meters altitude, Grasse is a breath of fresh air in a verdant setting of mountains, forests, and caves. Illustrious people have stayed here in Grasse, including the emperor's sister, Princess Pauline Bonaparte, in 1807 to 1808, Queen Victoria herself, and the actor and writer Dirk Bogarde. And without forgetting Napoleon himself, but he was in too much of a hurry to stay for too long in Grasse. in La Perfumerie Fragrant, which you can see is this huge perfumery. And it is so cool to see all these industrial machines that make the perfumes here. And here you can get free guided tours of the perfumery, which is pretty awesome. And while we wait for the guided tours to begin, we just browse around and look at the museum that is this building itself. Look how cool this old school wooden with all the spices, the scents. The halls of this perfumery are so cool. I love this red. I love just being able to look at all of this. Like, y'all, this is what I pictured when I was moving to Europe. You know, that this antiquity, this old world, and just being able to see how it's preserved here so beautifully. It's surreal. This painting, beautiful. It's really interesting to learn about perfume. So I've learned that in the Orient, aromatic plants, whether of local origin or imported, were used mainly for religious purposes. In a secular context, the Mesopotamian populations used a wide range of balms, oils, and mixtures with heaty fragrances and made broad use of makeup. Elongated terracotta veils were worn around the neck, allowing the essences to slowly trickle out. Cool, right? And then after the fall of the Greek Empire, perfume continued its conquest of civilizations at the heart of the Roman Empire. So in spite of attempts to prohibit the use of Oriental perfumes, the Romans did not stop using them in their homes, which they fragrance with saffron during banquets or even as part of their funeral rituals. They made great use of resins and spices to fragrance themselves and applied in the form of paste, oils, or greases, which were then stored in glass jars. So perfumes and the use of scent has trickled down throughout all these centuries. And after a few centuries of the fall of the Roman Empire, the Oriental civilizations continued their research into olfactory capture. So the work of scholars of the Arab world made possible significant advances in the fields of alchemy and distillation. So perfumery allowed them to perfect the first stills. Here, this is a portion where you get to try out different scents and see what different scents are like and make your own scents here. This is so fun, just being able to try out all these scents and what it smells like. So here you have a chart that shows you which scent has what and the notes in it, which is really cool. This one, okay. Smells like fun. I think I like the feminine scents more. Well, what they label as feminine scents compared to the masculine scents, because the feminine scents is like florals and, you know, it kind of smells like food, like desserts. Masculine scents here. On this tour, I've learned that the raw materials of perfumery has been evolving for centuries based on taste, fashion, and advanced technologies of the time. So there's quite a few different raw materials. There's raw materials of plant origins, which the ingredients of plant origins are used in perfumery are extremely diverse from what I've learned, as there are parts of the plants used like the petals and the roots and the barks and fruit and even grains. So in the Grasse countryside, where the town where we're in right now, they offer up the most famous flowers found in the perfumery's cabinet, such as rose de mai, jasmine, tuberose, orange blossoms, mimosas, violet, and narcissus. And then there's also raw materials of animal origins, significantly less well known than the plant-based products that are used in perfumes, but animal materials such as gray amber or musk are almost systematically replaced with synthetic products to preserving the respective species of that animal. So then now you have synthetic raw materials that were developed at the end of the 19th century. That was such a fun free tour of the perfumery and getting to try out all the different perfumes. Now we're just gonna roam around Grasse a little bit before we jet off to the next town. Now, also what Grasse is, the perfume capital of the world, is that Chanel and Christian Dior also have their fields for where they grow their flowers for the perfumes just above Grasse. Bonjour. I agree with that. Oh my god. I'm so glad we're here. It's so beautiful. Now this is the Museum of Art and History in Provence, and you can see I am obsessed. Look at this wallpaper, this fireplace. It is walking through a real life, basically, chateau in Grasse. I'm just so obsessed with this wallpaper. First of all, I love green and pink, and this wallpaper is it. They have good taste. This is basically me most of the time. Me working from home. Look at this old French mansion kitchen. It is so beautiful, like the copper pots and pans. And this table. And this whole cooking area. When I said I want to live in France, in the south of France, this is how I want to live. This is the type of kitchen I want. Rustic, so chic. And this is the private jardin of the museum. It's so beautiful that there's like this nook corner of Grasse. Look at the beautiful museum itself. Wow. This is where I want to live. Alright? It's my summer home. And that's the perfumery that we had a free guided tour in over there. Grasse is a great sized town, and since it's not that large and it's so walkable, you can explore it like we did in just a morning. I mean, we would love to spend more time and days here. Actually, I would love to spend a whole summer here, just lounging around, walking around, popping in and out of different patisseries and boulangeries, and of course, tracing back these long, big steps up and down this hilltop town, just like Jeroen down there is doing. But we gotta head out, and then now we're gonna pop into our car and continue our road trip down the Côte d'Azur, down all the way to Nice. While the French Riviera isn't exactly a defined border or region, Nice is considered the capital of the Côte d'Azur, at the foot of the French Alps on one side with the Mediterranean Sea on the other. Nice is a city that has long charmed visitors like moi since the Greeks founded it back around 350 BC, but since then it has become renowned for art and culture and a favorite amongst European royalty and elite. But that's the thing about Nice. Anyone can experience that glamour and indulge in its old world beauty. Even the French painter Henri Matisse had took up residence in the city way back then. We're pulling up into Nice right now, and this is right here is Promenade des Anglais, which is the famous promenade in Nice. Just roll down the window. Oh, the palm trees. You can see all these people biking and running and walking their dogs on the promenade. What connects a lot of the sites in Nice is the Promenade des Anglais, which are driving down, which stretches all the way through the city by the water. You can rent rollerblades or bicycle here, or a walk becomes a jaunt down to the Plage de Nice, which is Nice Beach. The outside of it being a pebble beach is that no sense in between toes or things flying away so easily. But for us, we're going to start in the city of Nice and explore away in the city. Now, it's been years since I've been in Nice, and this is my second time in Nice, and actually the second time, this time I'm hoping to just spend a little bit more time getting to explore the city, because last time I only got to have a bite here and see a little bit of the old town, but now I'm gonna explore a little bit more all around the city. The sun is shining and we just had to get out of our car, and we're going to go to lunch in Nice because it is such a beautiful day for it. Spotted this park from across the street. It looks so beautiful with all these purple flowers in bloom, or purple florals for trees in bloom. Look how beautiful this is. And then right across there's this cathedral. In a word, Nice is just so romantic. Come lunchtime, all over France, there's the Place du Jour. So the Place du Jour means the lunch special or dish meals of the day. And in this restaurant at Café de Nice, there's 3 courses offered for 13 euros, which is crazy. So we already started off with the bread spread, and now this is the steak du thon, which is the tuna steak. And then I also have the roast beef with mashed potatoes. So we ordered 3-course meal per person for Jeroen and for myself. So 13 euros per person, and you get 3 courses each, and then we just mix and match of it. So that way we get to try 2 different main courses. But of course you can have the same thing, because for dessert we both ordered the same thing, which is this tiramisu de fraise, which is strawberry tiramisu. It is so delightful. For some shopping time in Nice for more outfits for the south of France. Secure the goods, more outfits for the south of France. I've arrived to place Masséna. It is so beautiful here. I love the floor. Look at these checkered floors and all of the colorful buildings all around me here. Wow, nice. This here is the Fountain du Soleil, the sun fountain. I am in love with this. Look at all these horses browsing out, all these animals actually spouting out water, and this statue in the middle, of course, goes the checkered walkway. I remember this area from my first time way back years ago when I first was in Nice. It's so beautiful walking amongst the old town in Nice, because all these buildings is like a collection of pastel colors aged like fine wine. On this beautiful plant market in Nice, and I am loving all of these plants and flowers everywhere here. All those years ago when I backpacked around Europe when I was in my early 20s and still in university, Nice was one of the cities that I got to go to. And I just remember walking around being like, I wish I was one of these Asian Europeans. You know, when I hear Vietnamese on the street and they look like a local because their Vietnamese is mixed with French accent, I'm like, wow, I really wish I grew up in France, right? Because I'm Canadian Vietnamese, but it would be incredible to be French Vietnamese. And now that I'm here again for myself, and I'm Dutch Canadian Vietnamese because I'm now a Dutch national citizen and a European citizen at that, it's a different way of life. It's a different experience because this is one of my neighbors now. It's really cool to just be like, hey, we're neighbors with France, and we'll just pop down to France for a trip, and kind of still being part of local life in a way, but with a observing eye, because I'm not French and I'm not living in France. But maybe in the future I can work remotely from France, and I can just change a little bit of that, because this city, this country just has such a huge part of my heart, and how can it not? Aside from Galleries Lafayette, the one in Nice, pour some little AC and freezing, a little browsing. and AC. Walked from the old part of Nice to the new part of Nice, and this is the new neighborhood of Nice, and it is still so classically beautiful, as you can see, and which surprised me because like sometimes new parts of neighborhoods are so like steel and gray, whereas here look at this building too. I mean, you can see that it's like newly built, but beautiful. Up top high on Castle Hill in Nice. So what is Castle Hill? Castle Hill is this fortified area that overlooks all of Nice, and I can't wait. I see a little bit of the view of the town from the like down below, and I can't wait to go up and see this view from there. This is the view that I'm talking about. Look at the cathedral top right there. You see the sea. Love exploring cemeteries. I'm telling you, the cemeteries in Buenos Aires, the cemetery in Copenhagen, and the cemetery in Nice. There's just something so calming about it, but also being able to have a glimpse into the architecture, the style, all the different tombstones, the angels, and look at this one. It's so beautiful here. So refreshing. And then over here, look at this view of the city as well. Here you can see the promenade, and the sea, and all of Nice, of course. Here we have a view of all the old ports of Nice. All the old yachts. And then the distance as well. Sounds so beautiful. The bells of the church is ringing. So just outside of Nice city center is this cathedral St. Nicholas de Nice, which is this Russian Orthodox church. Wow, the bells are going crazy! We just got some pastries at this patisserie Clément, and now we're ready to go. Now that we have the goods secured, time to go and check into our hotel to enjoy these babies in bed. Logie Bears, I hope you enjoyed this big adventure of Sisteron to Grasse to Nice. But this is only the beginning of our Côte d'Azur French Riviera road trip. So stay tuned. If you haven't already, hit subscribe, leave me a comment below, and give this video a like because there will be more French Riviera adventures coming your way.